If your cruise stops in Rhodes for just a few hours, the way you plan your time here will make a huge difference. Because yes, you can see a lot, but it's also very easy to waste time or try to do too much. Hi, I'm Christoula, a local here in Greece, and in this video I'm going to show you how to spend one day in Rhodes, step by step, starting from the cruise port. By the end, you'll have a clear plan for your stop here, whether you want to stay in town or explore a bit further. Let's start from where your ship arrives. Now, the good news is that Rhodes is actually one of the easiest Greek islands to explore from a cruise ship, because the port is extremely close to the Old Town. Depending on exactly where your ship docks, you can usually walk there in around 10 to 15 minutes. So unlike some other cruise destinations, where you immediately need transfers or organized excursions, here you can start exploring almost right away. Once you leave the cruise terminal area, you simply cross the street and enter the walled Old Town through one of its main gates. And honestly, if this is your first visit and you only have a limited amount of time, I would mainly focus on Rhodes Town itself, because Rhodes is actually a very large island, and distances can take much longer than they appear on the map. That said, what I would personally recommend really depends on how long your cruise ship stays on the island. If you only have a few hours, I think it's best to stay around Rhodes Town and the Old Town area. But if your stop is longer, then you do have the option to explore the island a bit further beyond the city. So let's start with what I would recommend for shorter cruise stops first. Option number 1 is the simplest and the one I would recommend for most first-time visitors. From the cruise port, you can simply walk straight toward Rhodes Old Town and spend your time exploring there. Rhodes Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the best preserved medieval towns in Europe. And just wandering through the streets here is already an experience in itself. You'll find stone alleyways, little squares, medieval buildings, boutiques, cafes, and lots of hidden corners that are really fun to explore. Some of the main spots you can see here include the Street of the Knights, the Palace of the Grand Master, and the old city walls. You can also visit the Archaeological Museum of Rhodes, which is located inside a beautiful medieval building and has a lovely garden courtyard that feels like a quiet escape from the busy streets outside. And honestly, one of the best things to do here is simply wander around without a strict plan, because the atmosphere itself is a huge part of the experience. You can also easily stop for lunch, coffee, or some shopping while you're here without feeling rushed. Now, another option, especially if you want to see a bit more beyond the Old Town without walking too much, is taking the hop-on, hop-off bus. You'll find it directly on the main road as you exit the cruise port area, so it's very easy to locate. And this can actually be a really convenient option if you want a more relaxed overview of Rhodes Town, especially since there is also commentary on the bus explaining the different areas and landmarks along the route. And if you're interested in doing the same one, I'll also leave a link to the hop-on, hop-off bus I used in the description below. One stop you should consider is Monte Smith, where you can see the remains of the ancient Acropolis of Rhodes, the Temple of Apollo, and the ancient stadium, along with beautiful panoramic views over the city and the sea. And another nice thing is that this area has free entry. Another stop worth considering is the new market and Mandraki area, where you can walk around the harbor, see the windmills, the medieval fortifications, and the famous spot where the Colossus of Rhodes is believed to have once stood there. And from there, it's only around a 3-minute walk into the Old Town itself. If you prefer some beach time, another option is getting off near the aquarium, an early beach area where you can relax by the sea for a while before heading back. And of course, there is also an Old Town stop if you want to skip Mandraki completely and go directly there instead. Now, if your cruise ship stays in Rhodes for more than around 7 to 8 hours, then you could also consider visiting Lindos. Lindos is one of the most beautiful villages on the island, known for its whitewashed houses, narrow streets, beautiful sea views, and the Acropolis sitting high above the village. But one thing I really want to stress here is that this only makes sense if you have enough time, because Rhodes is a large island and getting to Lindos and back usually takes around 3 hours in total, depending on traffic and the type of transportation you choose. And ideally, you will also want at least 2 hours there to actually enjoy the village without rushing too much. You can get there by taxi, organized excursion, or public bus from Rhodes Town. And if you decide to take a taxi, one good thing to know is that taxi prices for popular destinations are fixed and usually displayed near the entrance of the Old Town area. You will also find public buses and taxis very close to the cruise port area, so getting around independently here is relatively straightforward. And personally, if you choose to visit Lindos, I would still recommend saving around 2 hours afterward to explore Rhodes Old Town as well, before returning to your ship. Because even though Lindos is beautiful, Rhodes Old Town is one of the highlights of the island and something I really wouldn't skip on a first visit. Now, one very important thing to keep in mind when planning your day in Rhodes is the timing for getting back to your ship. Especially during the summer months, Rhodes Town can get quite busy, and if you're visiting places further away like Lindos, I would definitely recommend giving yourself a good buffer before your cruise departure time. Personally, I would aim to be back near the port area at least 1 to 1.5 hours before the ship leaves, just to avoid unnecessary stress. And honestly, if your stop in Rhodes is shorter, I really don't think you need to overcomplicate the day. The combination of Rhodes Old Town, Mandraki Harbor, and maybe some beach time already gives you a really nice feel for the island. You can have lunch inside the Old Town, enjoy some traditional Greek food, or simply stop for a coffee in one of the small squares while taking a break from the heat. And if I personally only had one day in Rhodes in a cruise ship, I would probably spend most of it around the Old Town area. Because this is really the heart of Rhodes, and it's one of those places that's enjoyable even without a strict itinerary. Just wandering through the medieval streets, discovering hidden corners, and soaking up the atmosphere is honestly a huge part of the experience here. So overall, I think Rhodes is a fantastic cruise stop, especially because you can see and do a lot even in just one day. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Greece travel videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.